Hey everyone, how's it going? So we haven't done a pre-evolved Pokemon in a while, and I chose to do Horsea. Why? I actually don't know. I mean, truth be told, we have a bunch of pre-evolved water Pokemon to get through. They're all going to have their various advantages and disadvantages, and Horsea looked kind of interesting to me. I mean, its stats are really good for a pre-evolved Pokemon. 60 base speed, 70 in defense and special. I mean, that's really good. The HP's not great, and who cares about attack? But the problem Horsea may have is its move pool. It's extremely, and I mean extremely limited. We start with Bubble, which makes the initial rival battle, which I never talk about, really obnoxious because all we have is Bubble, so we basically have to wait for Bulbasaur to knock us out, which is not the best. But if you look through the move pool, while we do get ice moves, which will eventually help us versus Bulbasaur and other grass Pokemon, we really don't get much else. Just water and ice moves, but I'm not sure how secure I feel yet about this run. And speaking of security, I want to talk about a very important form of security that a lot of us take for granted. Cybersecurity. I'm so grateful we live in a time where there's Wi-Fi seemingly everywhere. But did you know connecting to these free unsecured Wi-Fis can put you at risk? Real life bad guys can set up fake networks or compromise legitimate ones, and then if you're unsecured, they can see everything you're doing. Thankfully, there's a solution, and that brings me to today's video partner, NordVPN. By using NordVPN, your traffic is encrypted, so all they would see is just garbage data, and that's not the only thing Nord can help you with. By clicking on my link, you'll get access to an exclusive NordVPN deal, which is perfect if you're someone who frequently uses public Wi-Fi. And by signing up for the standard plan, Nord itself can help protect you from malware, maladvertising, and even ransomware. Once again, if you click on my link, nordvpn.com/jrose11, you can get 4 free months of NordVPN if you sign up for the 2-year plan. And if you're not sure if Nord is right for you, don't worry, Nord has a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. So if this sounds like something you could use, make sure to click on my link, and let's get back to trying to beat this game with a little seahorse. Alright, so the Brock battle may actually surprise you, and I mean that genuinely. I battled one extra bug catcher in Viridian Forest, and it's a 3-hit KO with Bubble, which I was stunned. In fact, if Onyx went for double tackle, we actually would have lost. So I was starting to think maybe I should have leveled up a little bit more. And then once I battled the second trainer, the youngster on Route 3, my fear that I hadn't leveled up enough was sort of confirmed. This battle took me many attempts, just because we're stuck with Bubble. Rattata liked to use Tail Whip, and then Ekans could use Wrap or even Poison Sting. I think it took me like 9 attempts, which is not good for the 5th battle, I think, in the entire run. But if you think things are about to get easier, think again. We're now in Cerulean City, and to beat Misty, we would first need to beat this junior trainer, but the best move we have to use is Bide. I mean, we did pick up Water Gun, a TM in Mount Moon, but it does like nothing to Goldeen. And if you think, well, maybe Rival 2, that won't be so bad, you'd be extremely wrong. Rival 2 was just, if not more bad. I mean, each attack does pretty much a quarter of my HP. Then you gotta factor in Sand Attack, and it became almost impossible. But even though in the first attempt I make it to Bulbasaur, I do no damage to Bulbasaur. So what in the world am I gonna do? Well, on my 3rd attempt I beat the Goldeen trainer, but Misty isn't much easier. The best strategy is to use Bide. Misty has to use Tackle, but since Staryu outspeeds, it's gonna hit you with Tackle before you go for Bide. And by the time we get to Starmie, we have 10 HP, and that means 2 tackles will knock me out. Water Gun does nothing. So Misty is impossible. But Rival 2, yeah, we've leveled up a little bit more, but he's just as difficult as he was in the battle you just saw. I mean, we're barely getting past Pidgeotto. It's going to be a 4-hit KO, meaning at least 4 opportunities for it to use Sand Attack. Once it does, even if we have a lot of HP, we cannot reliably get past Bulbasaur. I did try to get it to use Vine Whip against me, and if it cooperated, which it didn't, we may have won in this attempt, but no. Bulbasaur couldn't cooperate. It was at this point I started to realize I may have messed up big. And I may have to do something I've only done a handful of times early on in one of these runs, which is start from the beginning. I tried battling the other trainer in Misty's gym, and even that trainer proved to be extremely difficult, even if I got extremely good luck. I just couldn't beat the Shelder and the Horsea. And if I can't beat them, and I can't beat Misty, and I can't beat Rival 2, well, maybe I should have leveled up more beforehand. So that's exactly what I did. I battled an additional bug catcher in Viridian Forest, and then battled the Light Years trainer in Brock's gym. Frankly, I thought he would destroy me, but I got pretty lucky and was able to knock out Sandshrew. And I had 7 HP out of 27, meaning a potion would get me to full. So now we battle Brock at level 10, 2 levels higher. And you can see Geodude is now a 2-hit KO, as is Onix, so a much easier victory, meaning I end at level 11, 1 level higher. This made a huge difference against the youngster because it only took me 2 attempts to beat him instead of 12. So early gain levels can make a big difference. Now, I wanted to get a little bit of luck in Mount Moon, and I'm not going to show the entire journey, but I didn't get it. I was going to knock out with Bubble or Water Gun every Geodude, and in both runs, I did battle the Hiker here. I only managed to get 2 Geodude. Sometimes I get like 12. Had I gotten 12, I'd be an additional level higher, which would have been huge, but I just kept getting Zubat, which was really frustrating. And when I made it back to Cerulean, I realized the only trainer I really had a better shot against was the Swimmer. And that's actually only because my Horsea was slightly better in certain ways. You see, when I reset for a Horsea, I can only sort of approximate what its stats are, not get them dead on. This was slightly better in Special, so that was kind of nice, and I got good luck. But realistically, the extra levels, they made the first part of the run a little bit more consistent, but we still have to get really good luck versus this Goldeen, which took me over 10 tries in this run, and we're no better off versus Rival 2. So, did the extra levels matter? Kinda. They're definitely going to make this next part a little bit easier, but I'm still going to need to do something I really don't enjoy doing, but we have no choice. I deposited my flying Pokemon and my cut dig Pokemon, which is always Paris, so that I can battle Rival 2 again and again, and again and again, and again and again, gaining experience points and losing. This is the quickest and most efficient way of gaining experience points, and eventually what's going to happen is once we hit level 20, it is both a speed tie versus Pidgeotto and a 3 KO, meaning in theory, only 2 chances for Sand Attack. Level 21 makes that even more secure. Additionally, once we knock out Rattata, which can be a 1-hit KO, it's actually a range, we do far more damage to Bulbasaur. I don't bother with Bite anymore because Bulbasaur so rarely actually goes for Vine Whip, and if I just got good luck here, I would have beaten Rival 2 right here, right now. It didn't happen, so it took me a few more attempts. You can see I did level up to level 21, so this was very time consuming. The critical hit and the Sand Attack miss were pretty clutch. So I'm going to be at full HP, meaning Bulbasaur, we can even get some suboptimal luck. We get quick attacked, which isn't a big deal, and there's some suboptimal luck. We do get hit by Vine Whip. Leech Seed is very common. It seems to prefer that for some inexplicable reason. It is just attacking randomly, but with 12 HP to spare, and this has taken me about half an hour, I finally made some progress in this run and can proceed to Nugget Bridge. However, one thing I will say is that when it comes to beating Misty, other than gaining levels, there's not much we really accomplished. We will not get access to Body Slam. which is a common way I beat Misty. Go to SSN, get Body Slam, use that instead of not very effective Water Gun. There are no more moves that Horsea can learn other than the ones it has. Thankfully, one of the moves it's learned in order to beat Rival 2, while not useful there, is extremely useful versus Misty. One other thing to note is just in front of Bill's house is an Oddish trainer, and Water Gun simply isn't going to cut it since Oddish can use Absorb, and that can get really dicey. So we're going to have to beat Misty right here, right now, and we're going to use a bit of an obnoxious strategy. Now, since we're at level 24, we now outspeed Staryu, and that's huge, because since we outspeed Staryu, we have a little better time with its tackles and can knock it out, thanks to that critical hit, with 2 bites. Now with Starmie, we don't outspeed, so bide isn't as effective. And thus I turn to a move I don't enjoy using, Smokescreen. So in this run, I had too little HP for Smokescreen to truly be effective, so we lost the battle, but in the next battle, I just used 6 Smokescreens and then slowly but surely knock out Starmie. Now, I want to clarify one of the rules I have in this run, and why I will use moves like Sand Attack and Smokescreen on occasion, but I'll never use Double Team. So Double Team specifically, every Pokemon can learn it, and it becomes meta-centralizing, especially in Generation 1, where not only does it give you evasion, but it increases all your other stats. But more importantly, evasion is far more powerful than lowering accuracy. In a solo run, raising evasion affects the entire battle, since your Pokemon will never swap out. Lowering accuracy only affects, in this case 50% of the battle, the one Pokemon, Starmie. Your Pokemon still needs to survive long enough to set up all those smoke screens, and then even if you knock out the one Pokemon that was giving you trouble, you still have to face the next one, which is why I didn't use it against Staryu. And that's another reason Double Team is so powerful. Frequently, opponents lead with a weaker Pokemon, which you can set up Double Team against, and then the stronger Pokemon just totally gets nullified. Anyway, now that we have Bubble Beam, which is a much higher base power than Water Gun, we are able to easily beat the Oddish Trainer and make it to the SSN. It's at this point the run actually does start to progress a lot more quickly. Bubble Beam doesn't quite one-shot Pidgeotto, but thankfully no Sand Attack. It does one-shot Raticate. It two-shots the Kadabra, and Ivysaur, still annoying as ever, it takes almost all the Bubble Beams I had remaining. We actually had one to spare, but thankfully no Vine Whip, and we're able to beat Rival 3, get cut, and battle Lieutenant Surge. Now, we're not going to do that. We can battle Lieutenant Surge, but what's the point? Lieutenant Surge gives us access to Fly, but for a slight cost of in-game time, we can battle Lieutenant Surge later when we either have better moves or much higher level. So instead, what we're going to do is proceed to Rock Tunnel. Unfortunately, that's a little bit easier said than done. I don't talk about this trainer often. I believe I've only talked about her once. However, this junior trainer is a nightmare for Horsea. We don't have a move that deals regular damage, so we're stuck using Bubble Beam, which is a 3-hit KO. All these Pokemon have status moves, including Stun Spore, which paralyzes, Poison Powder, which poisons, and the Bellsprout No Growth, which raises both special attack and special defense, since they are the same stat in Generation 1. This trainer took me forever and required really good luck to beat, so it kind of replaced the infamous Hiker battle in Rock Tunnel, which of course with Bubble Beam is a total joke. There's then a second junior trainer with an Oddish and Bulbasaur, and while this trainer is easier, it's still very annoying, and thankfully this is the second to last grass Pokemon we're gonna have to face without a super effective move. Because once we're done with her and the other trainer with an Oddish, thankfully the Oddish is much weaker, we're gonna make it to Celadon City. And in Celadon City, we can get Ice Beam, but we're not gonna get it right away. There's no need. First, we're gonna go through the Rocket Hideout and battle Giovanni. You might think Giovanni is totally a cakewalk, and his first two Pokemon are, but Kangaskhan wasn't. we actually got knocked out by the Kangaskhan, mainly due to the fact that Bubble Beam was not a 2-hit KO versus it. If it were, we actually would have knocked out Kangaskhan first. In our second battle, it actually decides to cooperate with us a little bit better, and it turns out 2-hit KO was a range, so we got it. Now at this point, there are 3 things we have left to do before we head to Fuchsia City. Actually, we can't even head there now, but that's not the point. We're gonna go shopping and buy Ice Beam and get the HM for Fly, but what we can do next is either go to Lieutenant Surge, beat him, and that'll allow us to use Fly, go to Erika, which we can skip till the end of the game if we want to, or we could go to Lavender and battle Rival 4, but without Fly, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And for that reason, I opted to battle Lieutenant Surge first. Now, right after we beat Rival 3, Surge would have been pretty difficult, but at level 33, Surge was completely easy. We one-shot his first 2 Pokemon, and then Raichu, even if it uses Thunderbolt, I think we survive on a sliver of HP, and it's a 2-shot versus Raichu. Hence, we get the victory we want, and then we can make our way to Lavender and battle Rival 4, now with Ice Beam. So Rival 4 is usually pretty easy, but there is something I want to take note. I actually meant to use Ice Beam against Pidgeotto. Gyarados, I mean, we got a crit there and a freeze, which was really nice. But you'll notice that it would otherwise be a 3 or 4 hit KO. That might be a bit of a problem later on. Right now, it's not such a big deal and we easily win, but it's something to keep in mind. After that, we can easily complete the Pokemon Tower. We can head to Fuchsia, get Surf, and then I could go back to Erika. I could use another level, I feel. So I'm going to go and battle Koga first, now with Surf. Unfortunately, I miscalculated the number of potions I had, and so I wasn't at full HP, which made this battle a little bit more annoying. Realistically, though, it all did come down to Weezing. If Weezing cooperated, it was going to be a 3-hit KO. Of course, Sludge did a ton of damage, so we couldn't have that. And Self-Destruct, we couldn't have either, which it liked to do. So this took quite a few attempts, and in the end, I did heal at the Pokemon Center, which made this a heck of a lot easier. There's also the chance that Surf gets disabled, which is pretty annoying. But eventually, we got the luck we needed versus Weezing. It's a 3-hit KO, as I mentioned. And by beating Koga, we get a speed boost. That's going to be really helpful because Rival 5 is coming up. And to make that a little bit easier, I decide now's the perfect time to battle Erika. I go for Ice Beam and it doesn't quite one-shot. That means Victory Bell could have knocked us out. Now, I'll be honest here. Looking back, what I probably could have done, and this may have helped versus Rival 5 also, spoiler for that, I probably should have battled all the other trainers here. Gained enough experience points to one-shot Victory Bell. I had to rely on a freeze, which realistically, Victory Bell could have missed or gone for Razor Leaf. Both of those would have allowed me to win, but alas, I had to get a freeze, and that would have made Rival 5 easier. Instead, I again overestimate Horsea's offensive prowess, and it would come back to bite me a little bit. So Rival 5 were practically at the same level, and Ice Beam, I mean, it's a 2-shot against Pidgeot, which outspeeds me. Now we're at level 40, and it's going to be a 4-shot at the best against Gyarados. Actually, it looks like a guaranteed 4-shot, which is fine, but Gyarados does far too much damage to us for us to take 4 turns. There's just no way. And so I don't get past the Gyarados, and I realized, unlike in most runs, I don't really have to beat Rival 5 in order to easily access Cinnabar. Usually, Lapras serves as both my Surfer and Strength user, but Horsea has Surf. We can use it out of battle, so that's exactly what I go and do. And unlike in the Celadon gym, I don't make that mistake again and battle every single trainer in the Cinnabar gym. They're all fire Pokemon. I'm a water Pokemon with Surf, so they almost all are a 1-hit KO, a quick way to gain a ton of experience points. Which frankly is pretty much what happened with Blaine, although I could have played this better. What I should have done is used Agility, which would have allowed me to outspeed both Rapidash and Arcanine. Instead, I'm a bit at the mercy of what Arcanine decided to do. If it got a crit with takedown and went for it twice, which is unlikely but possible, I could have lost. But it was a first try victory. I've gained a whole bunch of levels, and so hopefully now Rival Fivel is doable. Unfortunately, he's not. I mean, don't get me wrong, being higher in level definitely helps. Pidgeot is now one-shot by Ice Beam, and we can use Agility to boost our other stats thanks to the Badge Boost glitch, and Leer helps with that too. However, we do level up in the middle of the battle, nullifying the Badge Boost glitch. We do get a crit, and we outsped Alakazam, but if we level up in the middle of the battle, Badge Boost glitch won't really help us, and Alakazam is kind of a problem, especially because Gyarados is kind of a problem. I can set up agilities versus Growlithe, and maybe I'll one-shot Alakazam, except I don't. Very close, and that means we need to level up a little bit more. Once that didn't work, I just used all the rare candies, and now I'm at level 51. And I can badge boost against Pidgeot, which is pretty good because that means I'll have those badge boosts for Gyarados, and that means Gyarados is going to be a 2-hit KO, unless it crits me, which is really annoying since crits ignore stat boosts. So eventually, after getting sand attacked like 20 times in a row, I'm able to make it past both Pidgeot and Gyarados, and now we will one-shot Alakazam. Oh, we don't. Well, that's great. So in like my 25th battle, trying all sorts of stuff and using my rare candies earlier than I'd like to, 3 agilities to boost all my stats, then sand attack, which is not great, but it does boost my stats further. An obnoxious miss versus Gyarados, but it went for Leer, which actually helps more than hurts me. Alakazam now will be a one-shot, and then Ice Beam misses, but Venusaur goes for Vine Whip, and maybe the Leer and the Sand Attack are what I needed. Maybe not. First time I'd ever made it to Venusaur, but we do one-shot. And so at this point, all we have left to do is beat this trainer, beat Giovanni, battle Sabrina, and then battle Giovanni again. Well, it won't surprise you to learn this Rocket Trainer and Giovanni number 2 were extremely easy. It may surprise you to learn Sabrina herself wasn't actually that bad. Because of the rare candies, we are extremely overleveled. And thus, we almost one-shot Kadabra and it went for Recover. We do one-shot Mr. Mime and level up. We don't one-shot Venomoth, and because we are a water type, it goes for Grass-type Stun Spore. And if we weren't immobilized 3 times in a row, we may have been able to beat Alakazam. And on our very next attempt, that's actually exactly what happens. I also go for a few agilities just to outspeed, and although paralysis was super annoying, we beat Sabrina on only our 2nd attempt. Not bad. Giovanni number 3, it won't surprise you to learn, was a complete joke. The only wrinkle, I guess, is that Dugtrio does outspeed Horsea and thus got a hit in, but Surf one-shot everything else and we make it to Rival 6. I decide just to go for Ice Beam right away and it almost knocks out Pidgeot. We get the retroactive potion and that means we're at full HP. Rhyhorn, I mean, what do you think? Surf's gonna knock it out. Now I go for Ice Beam. Gyarados then does quite a lot of damage, but it's a 3-hit KO, so we're at 1/3 of our HP, approximately. We knock out Growlithe, and the problem is, without using any agilities for setup, Alakazam outspeeds in one-shot, so we're gonna have to use agilities. I decide to use them against Pidgeot, which seemed like a good plan. We're at 72 HP, then Rhyhorn comes out, we knock it out, and thankfully Gyarados actually cooperates quite nicely with us. We get a crit, and then bite, and then we knock it out. Now, Alakazam, we outspeed. Unfortunately, it has a very high chance of getting a crit, and it does. However, as you can tell, with just a little bit of luck, this battle really isn't that bad. So we're going to set up all 3 agilities. That's part of why leveling up early is good. We're at only 37 HP, which looks bad, but if all the things work in our favor, it won't matter. We're even hit by a Leer, which could help us versus Alakazam. Now, do we one-shot? No, but it went for Reflect, which is good. And do we one-shot here? No. In the Pokemon Mansion, we pick up Blizzard, which is way more powerful than Ice Beam, and it has 90% accuracy in Generation 1. So, I think we found the way to win. After losing one more time to Gyarados because we do need a little bit of luck, as I said, we're going to use Blizzard on Pidgeot, and then Surf on Rhyhorn, and then Blizzard on Gyarados, which of course misses. I have one power point up, and there's two more where I know where to get them. We then are in Red Bar, which is why everything's moving quite a bit faster. Alakazam thankfully goes for Recover and then Potion, which is pretty lucky. And then Blizzard does one-shot Venusaur, even with less badge boosts. And so, we get our victory. I saved the game because I am not doing that again. It's time for the Elite Four. And Lorelei will be annoying because we don't have any not very effective moves to use against her. Bruno will be easy. Agatha will be super duper annoying. Lance should be okay with Blizzard. And the champion is just a harder version of this fight. So, yeah. Looks like it's going to be fun. Alright, so against Lorelei, here's the big question. Because Dugong will go for Rest a bunch. If we use 3 agilities, can we 3-shot Dugong? Well, it uses Rest, and as it turns out, the answer is yes. That's really good because otherwise we'd have to level up. Cloyster, well, we got a crit there, but I think it would be a 2-shot anyway. And then Slowbro, we've taught Mimic. So our moveset is Surf, Blizzard, Mimic, and Agility. And Mimic has become Amnesia, which will one-shot Slowbro. It'll one-shot Jinx. We do level up, but Amnesia will still boost our special. Unfortunately, we get confused, but we don't hit ourselves in confusion, and we beat Lorelei pretty easily. Against Bruno, I'm just going to use Surf 6 times. Why 6? Because Machamp's special actually isn't that bad, and it's going to be a 2-shot. But, whatever. So, we have made it to Agatha. Now, Agatha is going to be annoying because her Pokemon have super high special, and we don't have a super effective move, nor do we really have a way of avoiding being put to sleep. We are in a bad spot. I do have a few more rare candies we've picked up, so I can increase my level by 3, and hopefully that'll make a difference versus Agatha. Maybe we'll outspeed, let's see. So we're 5 levels higher, but Gengar has much better speed. It goes for Dream Eater twice, which is nice, and then Nightshade. So we do knock it out. Blizzard, well, with a crit, one-shots Golbat. Haunter we outspeed in 2-shot, that's good. Arbok is going to be a 2-shot and Glare misses, that's good. And then Gengar goes for Nightshade, Toxic, and now... Super Potion, no! Oh, we actually almost won there. So close, so close. But with very little HP, Nightshade is just so devastating. Especially if we don't attack first. I lost to Agatha a couple more times till I finally got a victory. And you might be like, well, that's anticlimactic, J-Rose. Well, of course I'm going to get a victory. The video didn't just end here. But the thing with Agatha is I call it the Agatha lottery for a reason. Agatha's just super luck-based. There's really not much more to it. I mean, our moves do a lot of damage. We can tank some of her attacks. But frankly, it just depends on what her random AI does. And in this case, the random AI helped us out. The other reason I didn't really celebrate too much the Agatha victory is, well, watch what happens here. So we're going to go for Blizzard. It's about a 4 KO. Hyper Beam. I went for Agility, hoping it would go for Leer, and maybe we could knock it out, and that would help us versus Aerodactyl. But no, it just went for Hyper Beam again. So yeah, that's going to be a big problem if a single attack knocks out our entire HP, pretty much. But you may be thinking, J-Rose, come on, you made a mistake there. Don't make it like it's going to be so difficult. All right, here we get crit. Nothing I can do about that, right? Come on, J-Rose, that was just bad luck. Try again. All right, of course. Not going to stop. Blizzard, Leer, Blizzard, Hyper Beam. All right, 4 HP. 4 HP. It has to recharge, so I go for Agility, and I take my chances and go for Blizzard, knock it out. Well, I guess I was nervous Surf wouldn't knock it out. Now we outspeed, and as long as we don't miss, which we don't, we one-shot everything and make it to the champion. Cool. So now we get to fight the champion. But you see, the champion isn't going to be quite so easy. So what can we do against Pidgeot? Well, agility would help us outspeed Alakazam, so I go for it, and then it goes for Mirror Move agility. Now Blizzard will one-shot the Pidgeot, and I level up, which isn't great. I go for Blizzard accidentally. I meant to go for Surf, and it did decent damage. It's going to be a 3 KO, and we do knock out Alakazam with Surf. Rhydon, we're going to knock out with Surf. We're only at 28 HP, though. And now, here comes Gyarados. We get a crit, and yeah, what did I expect to happen there? It has Hyper Beam too. So like, this is the problem. Not the first Gyarados, the second Gyarados. Because there's no way after facing Alakazam, we're going to have enough HP to tank a Hyper Beam. I don't know what we're going to be able to do. To be quite honest with you, at least at this level, it's not going to be possible. Unless we get a clutch freeze against either of these things, I have no idea. So it's time to level up. I mean, it's been a little inconsistent to this point. Agatha's annoying, Lance can be a little tricky, and the champion looks impossible. Let's just level up, and hopefully we deal enough damage, and we tank more damage, so that this won't be as impossible as it seems. Horsea is right now in the top tier, so if it has to battle a little bit more, it'll still be one of the best pre-evolved Pokemon. This is not a fully evolved Pokemon. It is not unsurprising. We might have to battle a little bit more than the minimum in order to make this successful, especially with an extremely limited move pool. Alright, so I did all the prep work, battled a bunch of trainers, got a rare candy, a PP up. Now, we're going to do 3 agilities. Growl actually helps me. Rest doesn't do anything, and it's still going to be a 3-shot versus Dugong, and fine. Cloyster, it's still going to be a 2-shot. We get confused, but don't hit ourselves in confusion. Fine. We can just speed through this. You guys know how this is going to go. Or do you? Because for the first time ever, I was doing one of these live on Twitch, which distracted me a little bit, and I forgot to use Amnesia. And I still won. So I guess I didn't need it, but probably cost me a minute or two. So, oh well. Bruno, we're just going to speed through. Bruno's very easy. In fact, we actually get a critical hit on Machamp, so it was 5 serves. Excellent. Now against Agatha, we still don't outspeed Gengar number 1. We get very lucky with 3 meter. Now agility will deal more damage. It'll be a 2-shot, and we outspeed everything. Surf, Nightshade, Surf, like I said, 2-shot. Blizzard, 1-shot. Haunter will be a 2-shot. Hypnosis misses. Very good. We level up. That's fine. We still outspeed. And then we get really lucky. Arbok swaps out, meaning it doesn't attack us. The Gengar didn't go for Nightshade or Confuse Ray, both of which would have been kind of bad, but we win. I even used Blizzard against Arbok for PowerPoint management, and now we've made it to Lance. I even have 1 rare candy left, so we don't level up in the middle of the champion fight. This should be a heck of a lot easier now. At level 67, I go for Blizzard, it goes for Dragon Rage, Blizzard, and then Hyper Potion is the worst case scenario. Then it goes for Hyper Beam, and now my PowerPoint ups are going to have to come in clutch. Of course, we need Gyarados to cooperate, and it thankfully does with a Leer. But we only have exactly 4 Blizzards left, which means actually we have 1 to spare. We have 1 to spare. Things should be fine. Just don't miss. Cool. You know what? The Leer was the clutcher thing. But hey, having extra PowerPoints really did help me there. If we only had 6, we wouldn't have had enough. So, yay me. Now I'm going to use elixirs, I'm going to heal, and we're going to see how we do at level 68. We shouldn't level up until after the champion battle, so we can badge boost a little bit more aggressively. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so I'm going to go for agility, mirror move agility, that's fine. Agility, it's going to go for sky attack, so I have to go for blizzard. I don't get the miss, we knock it out. Alakazam, I go for surf. It goes for psychic, no special drop, only 50 damage. So that's a 2-shot. We have way more HP. We can tank a Hyper Beam. We go for Surf, knock out Rhydon. Gyarados, we go for Blizzard. We got this. It's a 2-shot. Oh, we froze. Oh, that's it. That's it. That's GG. That's GG. That's GG. That was a clutch freeze. We would have won anyway because we one-shot the Venusaur, but that was a clutch freeze. that is a victory for Horsea, and that is a really good pre-evolved time and Pokemon. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be in the 5-hour range at a very nice level, and that puts Horsea in very exclusive company among pre-evolved Pokemon. Under 530, really good. Now, if somehow we were able to avoid Victory Road, which wouldn't have been consistent, so we couldn't have, Horsea would have been able to be in the top non-Ghastly tier, because Ghastly is just so good. But it's going to be at the top, just outside of the top 5 right now, of the B tier. It's going to supplant Omanite. And one thing that's very apparent is that water Pokemon are really, really good in Generation 1. Within the top 10, 6 Pokemon right now are of the water type, which is really good. And part of that has to do with just how difficult it is to get by Brock when you're not a water type. But it also is the fact that water type's main weakness is grass, and they all get access to ice moves, which nullify that weakness, and Horsea was no exception. With all that said, thank you guys for watching. I may stream more of these on my Twitch channel if you're interested in that. It's a bit of a different experience if you want to see the process of me doing these live. But once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.